Hello everyone, my name is Rishikesh Nare and we welcome you to our special series, The Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, an initiative by ETH. Before we begin, let me set the context right. The key to cutting chai conversation is to have good conversations around the areas of your early life, education to grooming, training, business sense, skill augmentation to work-life balance. It's a series of candid conversations where we take you through the inspirational journeys of influential people. You all have seen these personalities in the corporate world, but we are taking them away from the boardroom drama for some time to have some candid conversations. So today we have with us Mr. Eklas Bari, and he represent. I would say that he does not want me to call out his designation because this conversation is not related to that. Maybe for the personality, and when it comes to personality, Mr. Bari, I don't want to say anything. Over to you.
My designation is Eklas Bari, a simple human being. That's all. I work as the Chief Technology Officer for Fullerton India.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. It's very difficult to get times in these challenging times because we have meetings lined up, work from home, Teams call. You don't get WhatsApp messages, but so many Teams calls that you get nowadays. But we have to live with it, and that's what makes us human. And that's where I want to touch upon. Since you said that you talk about yourself that you're a human being. So what makes you human?
All right, it's been but I would say my humble background. I'm from a small town called Jamshedpur. When I was born, it was in Bihar. When I left it's in Jharkhand now. My dad and mom came from villages near Patna. Dad started as a casual labor working for Tata Motors, and he retired as a senior engineer in 1991. So he spent 35 years working with Tata Motors. And the designation he retired at in 1991 was the designation that I joined at in 1994. And he's no more, but he never forgave me for leaving Tata Motors. Because that generation loved being loyal, especially to Tatas, and Tatas are very, very good employers as well. Anyway, my mom is a homemaker. She's not literate. I got 4 brothers, 2 sisters. Very, very humble beginning. We had to ration our food, and we got 1 stitch in a year. That's how we managed our childhood. My entire study from 8th onwards has been on scholarships, and that's how I have sponsored my studies.
You mentioned about the city called Jamshedpur, and I've been to Jamshedpur once, and trust me, it's one of the earthy cities. I don't know how to describe it in words, but it has got an earthy feeling to it. That city, the people, the roads, the kind of environment you have over there is wonderful. So, any plans? You still go there to explore your childhood memories?
Well, I've been to Jamshedpur several times from the time that I left it in 1992 to pursue my engineering at IIT Kanpur. And I do like visiting there. I have my eldest sister who lives there. I have my friends um, from school who are there. And you're right, it's an absolutely great town, and it has some awesome schools. Some of the best schools in India are in Jamshedpur.
Yeah, and any childhood mischievous things that you must have done, but we would like to know because now we want to uncover your human side. So, being mischievous is the DNA of all human beings. So, anything that you
Yeah,
recollect?
yeah, I can tell you a few things. So I used to get into trouble a lot at school. My parents used to be summoned to school every other month. The biggest incident I remember is when there was a Benson and Hedges series. Those were day and night matches. It used to come, and they used to start India time. So I used to go to school, keep my bag, mark my attendance, and then run away to the Tata Motors Club and sit in a bar as a 15, 16-year-old and watch cricket. Come back during lunch, have my lunch at school so that my mom still sees me at school. Then again go back and watch the second half. I was not satisfied with just me going to watch cricket. So slowly I roped in one or two more students. And over a period of time, it was a bunch of 4 or 5 of us that were missing from the class every time there was an India match. Finally, the monitor complained to the teacher. The headmistress called the parents of each. We were detained at school. Even at detention, we took out the petrol pipe from the UST of the company secretary, who ran out of petrol getting out of the school gate. We got into trouble again. So that is something that I remember very well. And I also remember in grade 2 when the teacher asked me what did I want to become. When I grew up, I said I want to become a bus driver. So because I liked the way the bus was driven, it had a large steering wheel, and I liked being in control of that huge and automobile. So my teachers called my parents and said, "I have you put him in school. He wants to become a bus driver. So just carry on with it." So those are
I think you remember all the details so vividly. I must say that there are so many things that you must have done, but you don't want to just uncover right now. But since you've done so much for the cricket, I mean, you got into trouble, your headmistress called your parents, and I understand, because right now, if we see that incident, we find it okay, or that's fine. But at that point of time, it is devastating that your head is saying that call your parents. So it's something like cricket. I mean, you have passion for cricket. Now you just mentioned about driving a bus. How do you have this diverse set of hobbies, or say interest areas?
I honestly don't know, Rishi. It's just the way my body chemistry is. I was good at academics. That's why I got away with a lot. Although I used to trouble teachers and used to be punished also. But I was also I was a favorite student to several teachers. I guess it is because I get bored easily out of the same thing. So, just sitting in a class for 30, 40 minutes listening to the teacher is just something that I could not digest. So I needed difference. I needed variety. So just putting people having fun is part of my personality.
So if you're focused enough, so in spite of having so much fun that you had, anybody can get into IIT. Is that the statement that you want to make, or there is a hard work, commitment, and several other objectives that, if I want to add, that you need to have if you want to crack into the top institutions of the country?
Okay, whenever I get a chance to speak to the newer generation, okay, or anyone, and they ask what is the key to success, and if I were asked, or you could say only one thing, okay, they always say, if you look at anybody who's successful in any career, whether it is Narendra Modi as a politician, whether it is Charles Sobraj as a criminal, whether it is the Godfather as the Don, or whether it is Sachin Tendulkar as a cricketer, anyone successful in their field, you will find one thing common, and that is they work extremely hard. So that is one thing that I teach my kids. That's one thing that I embrace. There is no shortcut to working hard. And if you achieve success, and if you achieve something without working hard, that can only be short-lived. You won't be able to sustain success without hard work.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very thin difference, a thin line between success and happiness. But if I have to mention about your first job, just take us through that journey and then tell us that was it success or was it happiness?
My first job was with Tata Motors. That was also very interesting. But my then after my MBA school, I joined GE. But before I got into GE, I had gotten through Siemens Information Systems Limited. And in the evening, when I was celebrating getting through to SISL, I heard about Jack Welch and GE, which I had not heard about. My girlfriend then, who is now my wife, Radhika, told me about GE and Jack Welch. I said, I don't care about GE and Jack Welch, however big they might be.
Sorry to cut you, but you were partying, right? At that
Party.
evening. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, so as I said, we were celebrating, and I remember we were having Old Monk, which still continues to be my favorite drink, with thumbs up. Uh, but what got me interested was it was a management training program where you got a new assignment every 6 months. And as I've told you earlier, my personality is I get bored easily. So I said, okay, this is something that would be interesting where you get to change companies and assignments every 6 months. This is one for me. So I applied to GE. There were 17 people in the information management batch. 16 got shortlisted. I was the only one that was not shortlisted. So I wrote to GE, faxed at that time, and I said, you are coming here to, and in meeting 16 people, just meet the 17th. And they said, okay, we'll meet you, 17th person. In the interview, I fought with the interviewers, argued on something. I thought I'll never get through. But eventually, it turned out that I was the only one that got selected and the other 16 were not. It's straight out of Bollywood as to how being the only person not to make to the shortlist to being the only person who actually made the grade. And then there are many stories of me at GE. One thing that I can tell you is I was posted in Singapore, I was posted in US, I was posted in UK and Holland. At all of these places, the police had been summoned because I partied very loudly. And would call upon the police. So I have had run-in with police in US, in Holland, in UK, and there are interesting stories about how I got my driving license, how I got my passport, how I drove the first car in US when the first car I was ever driving. Before that, I had only driven trucks, 12-wheeler and 8-wheeler trucks at Tata Motors, and that was the first car that I drove. But you know, if we have the time, I'll tell you very interesting stories about.
But I mean, you mentioned about your interaction with the police. Then you drove a truck. But did you ever get to drive a bus, which you always wanted to? Because you know that is where I can see the difference: success and happiness. Now, I think that bus was your happiness, and the success must be the the car that you have currently. So,
Now that
any plan?
Okay, I have never connected the two, but not now that you say it. At Tata Motors, as I said, I have only driven trucks. Well, like trucks and bus, you know, it's just a difference in the body, right? So one is, but I have driven very heavy trucks at Tata Motors, and now I remember, you know, and remember, trucks do not have power steering. You are used to power
Right.
steering. There's no power steering, something like that. And I used to transport parts from the assembly, from the small parts of the assembly shop. But yeah, I did get to drive a truck. Thank you for reminding me that connection.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, nowadays, I think you've seen the digital transformation. I don't know, Elon Musk, he has a Cybertruck. I don't know what that fascination is called as. But again, your good old trucks, the bigger steering, where you steer yourself as well when you drive that machine. When I look back into your journey, I feel that you had an answer to every problem or every situation where the creativity was the base of it. I mean, every single time you got out of so many situations, police, your headmistress, so many things. Every time you had a creative solution to it. Just talk us through about creativity, its impact, how is it relevant to today's world? Because and it is restricted for only for the marketers, advertisers, or it is open for all. Anybody can have a cup of it.
Okay, the short answer is creativity is not only restricted to marketers and advertisers. You can be creative in any field, and if you can be creative in something as mundane and as technical as technology, you can pretty much be creative anywhere. I want to relate to you two things about creativity. One is how do you become a creative salesperson? So at IIT Kharagpur,
Okay.
uh, in the steering con, and we had exceeded our budget by 2 times because I had invited Jagjit Singh. And the reason we had invited Jagjit Singh was because I used to listen to Jagjit Singh ghazals when my heart was broken because I had a crush on someone. So that is the whole story of how we got Jagjit Singh. But Jagjit Singh was very expensive. So we had exceeded our budget, but we needed the money, and alcohol and tobacco sponsorship was banned in campuses that year in 1994. So I went to a place, BPL showroom in Kharagpur, and usually we sell a stall in our Springfest at 3,000. Guess how much I sold the stall at?
About maybe 10, 15K or
Okay, so the
somewhere around
3,000
that.
stall was sold at 30,000 to
Oh,
BPL. And then we went to Philips, who had rejected us earlier, and he said, BPL is coming with a stall. Do you want a stall again? So we sold another 3,000 at 30,000. So at 10 times that price. And it only happened, on a whim that, somebody can afford 30,000, so sell it. So it was just being creative at that moment. The other one is whenever I have a message to give, either to my team or to my audience, I speak at a lot of conferences. I always bring in creativity to keep the audience interested and land the message. So, for example, I know how important data is to an organization and to the IT team. So my slide that would go up would say on one side there is Amitabh Bachchan saying मेरे पास सर्वे है, मेरे पास फ्रस्ट्रेशन है, मेरे पास रेवेन्यू है, मेरे पास कॉस्ट है, तुम्हारे पास क्या है? And then Shashi Kapoor comes up and says मेरे पास data है, which is now you see that is you're using Bollywood, but that is a message that is difficult to forget. So the message lands that as important as Ma is as data is as important as Ma. So,
right.
so that presentation has Salman Khan, Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, Sunny Leone, Viren Sehwag, Rahul Dravid,
Oh,
and it has uh, but it has all messages with respect to technology in enterprises. So I've given you a long answer, but yes, you can be creative in anywhere, anytime, whether it is selling, whether it is presenting, whether it is talking to the board, talking to the management.
yeah. I mean, uh, okay for usual corporate world, but now when you have to marry creativity with logic, and that's technology, right? So, how does that entire cycle work? Is it the same pattern, or you have to sacrifice on some bits when you have to, get creativity and logic together?
Actually, think of them as being very complementary to each other. So you got to think what is the message that I want to. What you start with is what is the message? Okay, what is it that I want to get across to Rishi, or what is it that I want to get across to the audience? So, for example, uh, the message that I wanted to get across is. Uh, that technology is very important. Okay, it doesn't matter what business you are in, which industry you are in, which age you are in. Technology is extremely important, and integrity is very important. So I put up an image of Kumbhakaran Vadh. Okay, that has Kumbhakaran on one side, fully armored, and then you have Lord Ram jumping and shooting an arrow at Kumbhakaran. Okay, and the messages were three. Uh, One, whether it is Satyug or Kalyug, God or human being, tools and technology are always needed, right? And it doesn't matter whether you have the best tools and technology because Kumbhakaran was all armored up. Integrity
Right.
is equally important to be able to win in the market. So as I said, you start with what is the message, then you work backwards from the message as to what is a video, what is an image, what is a photo, or what is the story. Most importantly, what is the story that can get that message across. So that's how to marry logic with creativity.
Interesting perspective. Since we are talking about the message part, what message do you want to give to Mr. Akhlaq Bari at the age of 20?
The message I would look. I just followed the herd. Everybody wanted to be engineer or a doctor. I chose engineering because that's how my family, and I don't blame them at all because that's the best they knew at that time. But what I'm encouraging my kids to do is choose the passion and the area that brings about the best in them. And I would say that to a 20-year-old Likhlak that follow your passion of music, follow your passion of movies. If not a CTO, I would have been a DJ or a director in movies. So I would have wanted.
Anything that we expect in the future? I mean, anything that we expect? At least some
Yeah,
music
I'll
track?
tell you. Okay, yeah, that's something that you should expect in the future. It is in my future plans, but I also want to tell you what's future. The path that I'm pursuing now is to become a happiness coach and a motivational speaker. I wanted to be a life coach, but I said, life is about happiness and success. So I'm going to get myself into happiness and success coach. That's what I'm going to call myself, or I call myself. And I'm going to start something called a school of success and happiness. Okay, where people will go, and when they come back, either they will know the path to success and happiness, or they'll already feel successful and happy. And there, for example, if you come to the school of success, and let's say Rishi, you wanted to become, what do you want to become? Let me ask you that. What is your alternative career if you were not in this?
Mountaineering?
Mountaineering, right? So let's take mountaineering. So if you were to come to school of success, you have heard about this self-affirmation, you have heard about visualization, people who want to achieve. So in one of the rooms in school of success, we will make a movie of you conquering some of the biggest mountains that you want to conquer. And we'll play this over and over again till that settles in your head. We'll get you a mantra that you can repeat to yourself. We'll get you to smell what mountaineering smells like. What does it taste like? So that are some of the ideas around the school of success. And because I'm going to be a happiness and success coach, I know that I'm going to make a movie, at least a short movie, if not more, on happiness and success.
That's brilliant. That's so. I mean, it is insightful. I was in that school. I think 2 minutes ago when you were explaining that entire process of getting it, and uh, it sounded so interesting. And when you start doing this, I think it is going to get a lot of success and happiness as well. So before
Yes.
we before we wrap up, any because nowadays the competition is fierce. I mean, even at the age group of 15 to 45, you see everybody is acquiring new talents, new skills in order to sustain in the current scenario. One message that you want to give it to all the entrepreneurs, maybe a startup guys who are into their 20s. Any one message? I mean, we get to that point where someone wants to decide that what they want to follow, and if someone wants to follow their passion, let me make it simple. If someone wants to follow their passion, what is one message that you want to give to the viewers?
I'll repeat this. Okay. You must follow your passion. You will have to work hard. Just because you follow your passion does not mean that you will not need to work hard. Okay. So no, and this is something that Michelle Obama says. You can search the internet, Google. Everybody will say that follow your passion, have a big dream, and be ready to work hard to achieve it. Just dreaming and following your passion is not enough. You have to work hard to get it. So that is one message that I would give. The second message that I would give is, and this is something that I've learned now, and I would give that to 20-year-old Ikhlaq also. that we all chase success, we all chase designations, we all chase jobs, we all chase wealth. Okay, and it's never enough. So when your salary is 100, you buy a 42-inch TV. When your salary is 200, you will buy a 65-inch TV, right? So, so your bank balance will always be, that because your expenses would have caught up with whatever you're earning. Suddenly, the 42-inch TV will look small, which will look big because your salary has become bigger. So you'll spend the money. So when you chase success, when you chase designations, when you chase jobs, when you chase wealth, you are doing it in order to be happy. You believe that when you are successful, you are going to be happy. My message is you can be happy now. Okay, your happiness is inside. Okay, you can be happy now and still continue to follow the path of success. Don't wait to get to the destination to be happy. Okay, you have the choice to be happy now. Enjoy the journey as much as the destination.
I completely get that because the TV that you can see, that's the 65-inch TV. So I get that in the background. I upgraded from 42 to 65, so that's the 65. So I get this point. Absolutely right. On that note,
that's a 85-inch or a 65-inch.
That's the 65, and you gave the right example. So correctly, I moved from 42 to. So that was Eklas Bari for you, EVP, CTO, and Head of Analytics at Fullerton, India. His perspective on creativity is creative. He's someone who knows how to find the harmony between success and happiness. And we wish you all the best for your Success and Happiness School. And we see that happening in next 5 years, maybe.
Yes, for sure. आपके मुंह में घी शक्कर and गन्ने का खेत.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So it was wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.